Right. Let me just say this up front. Gucci Flora Gorgeous Gardenia is one of those fragrances that people absolutely love to dismiss. You know the type. Too sweet, too mainstream, too pink. And honestly, I get it. On paper, it sounds like a fragrance designed by a marketing committee for a teenage birthday wish list. But here's the thing. I've been wearing this on and off for the last week, and I keep reaching for it. So either I've completely lost my edge, or this fragrance is genuinely doing something right that a lot of people are sleeping on. Let's find out which one it is. Gucci. You don't really need an introduction, do you? Founded in Florence in 1921 by Gucci, this is one of those houses that has moved between eras of pure elegance and absolute chaos, and somehow always landed on its feet. In fragrance, Gucci has had some genuine classics: Rush, Bloom, Guilty, and then there's the Flora line, which deserves a bit of context because it's older and more storied than most people realize. The Flora print itself dates back to 1966, when Gucci created a silk scarf for Princess Grace of Monaco. That's the heritage this fragrance is sitting on. It was eventually translated into a fragrance collection, with Gorgeous Gardenia being arguably the standout of the range. The Eau de Parfum version we're looking at today is the more concentrated, more sophisticated take on what was originally a lighter, fresher composition. So this isn't just a pretty bottle. There's genuine history behind the name. Now, say what you want about the fragrance itself, but the bottle is lovely. It's clean, feminine, and just premium enough to feel like a proper luxury purchase without being ostentatious. The glass is a soft, frosted, pale pink, almost like something you'd find on a vintage dressing table but modernized. The cap is a pale gold, and it sits flush with a satisfying click. Nothing rattles. Nothing feels cheap. The Flora print is embossed subtly on the bottle. You have to catch it in the light, but it's there, and it's a beautiful detail. The overall silhouette is quite delicate. Not a chunky powerhouse bottle, not a minimalist cube. It's somewhere in between, with a quiet femininity that communicates exactly who this is for without screaming it. The 30 ml size is particularly cute. It sits in the palm of your hand and looks like a proper little collector's piece. On a vanity, this earns its place. The box itself is that same soft pink, with clean gold typography. It feels considered. Unwrapping it feels like a small event, which is honestly what you want at this price point. Okay, first spray. So I've been going back and forth on this because Gucci haven't listed the official note breakdown in full, which is genuinely frustrating as a reviewer. But I've spent enough time with this fragrance and done enough research to tell you what your nose is actually going to experience. The opening is bright, immediately bright. There's a juicy, almost sparkling quality to it, like someone squeezed a mandarin over fresh florals. It's not sharp or harsh. It's more like that golden warmth you get in the first few minutes of a summer morning before the heat arrives. There's a fruitiness here that flirts with red fruits, pear, maybe a whisper of raspberry. But it never tips into artificial or candied territory. It stays clean, almost dewy. The projection on opening is moderate. This isn't a fragrance that announces you from across the room in those first seconds. It's more intimate than that. It wraps around you rather than launching itself outward. Give it 3 or 4 minutes and it starts to breathe, to open up. And then you start to understand what you're actually dealing with. And then the gardenia arrives. And this is where the fragrance earns its name. The gardenia heart is lush, it's creamy, it's indulgent, it's white floral without being soapy or medicinal. If you've ever held a real gardenia blossom close to your face, that waxy, almost narcotic sweetness, this captures that extraordinarily well. It's not a harsh, screechy white floral. It's got body. It's got depth. Layered underneath the gardenia is something that feels almost like peach skin. that fuzzy, sun-warmed, slightly velvet quality. It gives the heart real warmth, and there's a pinkish sweetness running through everything that stops it from feeling austere or cold. This is a fragrance that smiles at you. What genuinely surprised me is how feminine yet approachable this heart is. I would absolutely spray this on a man who enjoys softer, sweeter fragrances. It's listed as unisex, and I think that's fair. There's nothing aggressively gendered about it once you get past the initial floral hit. It's just beautiful, competently, confidently beautiful. After a few hours, the gorgeous gardenia dries down into something quite soft and powdery. The florals recede a little, and what's left is a warm, almost musky base, with that gardenia still ghosting through in the background. It becomes a skin scent at this stage, close and intimate rather than projecting outward. There's a vanilla-adjacent creaminess that sits in the base, nothing overpowering, just a gentle sweetness that keeps the whole composition cohesive. This is the kind of fragrance that, at the dry-down stage, people lean in to smell on you. Rather than hitting them from a distance, it makes them curious. There's something almost nostalgic about it at this stage, powdery and warm and safe, like a hug in a bottle. Which sounds cheesy, I know. But sometimes a fragrance just does that, and pretending otherwise would be dishonest. Right. Honest numbers. On my skin, I'm getting around 6 to 7 hours, which for an Eau de Parfum at this price is respectable. The first 2 hours are the most vibrant. You'll get genuine projection, that bright floral opening, the creamy gardenia heart doing its thing. After that, it pulls closer to the skin, and you're in intimate territory for the remaining hours. On fabric, it lasts longer. On a scarf or a collar, I was still catching it the next morning. So if longevity is your primary concern, spray on clothing as well as skin, and you'll get significantly more mileage. Sillage is moderate to soft. This is not a room filler. This is not the fragrance you spray when you want to make an entrance. This is the fragrance you spray when you want to be discovered, when you want someone close to you to catch it and ask what you're wearing. If you like big sillage, big presence, something that commands a space, this probably isn't your fragrance. But if you want something refined, personal, and genuinely pleasant to those in your immediate orbit, the sillage here is absolutely appropriate. Let's talk about the person this is made for. Honestly, the sweet spot is spring and summer. This is a warm weather fragrance through and through. The brightness of the opening, the floral heart, the overall lightness of the composition. It all sings in the sun. That said, I've worn it on mild autumn days, and it works beautifully. Where it struggles is in cold, gray winter weather. The warmth and brightness that make it special in sunshine just feel a little lost when it's 5 degrees and raining. Occasion-wise, this is day wear. Brunch, shopping, a weekend walk, a first date, a casual afternoon in the office. It's approachable and likable and non-offensive in the very best sense. It's not an evening fragrance. It's not a special occasion scent. It's the fragrance you reach for when you just want to feel good without overthinking it. Age-wise, I think this works for a very wide range, late teens through to 50s, genuinely. It's not juvenile, but it's not austere either. It sits comfortably in the middle. At $45 for the 30 ml, you're paying £1.50 per milliliter. In the context of the current fragrance market, where niche houses are charging £4 or £5 per ml without blinking, that is genuinely excellent value. This is a Gucci, with all the brand heritage that comes with that, in an Eau de Parfum concentration, for £45. That's a strong proposition. You can pick this up from P11, p11.com, and the link is in the description below. They're a reputable UK stockist, and the price is solid for what you're getting. Now, are there alternatives? Yes. If you want something in a similar white floral, creamy gardenia space, there are options. But very few of them at this price have the same polish, the same brand equity, or the same packaging quality. For $45, this is a legitimately good fragrance from a legitimately great house. My score? 7.5 out of 10. I'm holding back from 8, purely because the longevity drops off in the later hours and the sillage is softer than I'd ideally want for the price. But the composition itself, the quality of the gardenia note, the overall experience, that's comfortably a 7.5, possibly nudging 8 on a warm day when it's performing at its peak. Look, Gucci Flora Gorgeous Gardenia Eau de Parfum is not going to blow your mind. It's not avant-garde. It's not challenging. It's not going to make you feel like you've discovered something secret and profound. But it is genuinely lovely. It's well-made, it's well-priced, and it does exactly what it promises with real quality and care. If you've been dismissing this because it feels too mainstream, too pink, too obvious, I'd encourage you to give it a proper try, spray it, live in it for a few hours, let the gardenia heart do its thing. You might surprise yourself. And if you want to grab a bottle, the 30 ml is a fantastic entry point. Low commitment, proper luxury, and it sits at a price that makes it an easy gift or an easy treat for yourself. Head to p11.com, link in the description. Now I want to hear from you. Do you own gorgeous gardenia? Have you worn the Eau de Toilette versus the Eau de Parfum? Which version do you prefer and why? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if this review helped you make a decision, hit the like button. It genuinely helps the channel more than you know. Until next time.